Hello, I'm Justin Pratt, the Emergency Manager for the Savannah-Chatham County Public Schools. In the event of an on-site emergency, please exit the building through the doors located to your left or right in the back of the room as quickly and safely as possible. For cabinet and board members, your designated exit is a small door behind me to the right, which leads to the hallway near the restrooms. Please follow the instructions provided by campus police, who will guide everyone to a designated assembly area. If 911 needs to be called, campus police or an assigned individual will handle contacting emergency services. In case we need an AED before EMS arrives, it is located to the left wall next to the exit door. Campus police or a designated person will operate the AED. For minor fires, a fire extinguisher is located to the left in the hallway behind me. Campus police will be responsible for directing any additional emergency responders upon their arrival. Thank you for being here today, and stay safe.
All right, welcome everyone to our August Capital Improvements Committee meeting. We'll call the meeting to order. First item on the agenda is I'll entertain a motion to approve today's agenda. So moved. Been moved and seconded. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? It passes. Next item on the agenda, approval of our April minutes, which were previously circulated. So moved. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor? Yep. And that passes as well. And we will move on to our finance report, please.
Hi, good afternoon.
Afternoon, Ms. Clark.
Let's move forward. So our first slide is our East Plus tax revenue collections, and currently we're collecting for East Plus 5 for the June taxes. So all of our data is through July 31st, but June taxes are actually posted in our ledgers. We received those taxes in July. So taxes through June are $97,685,000, and we've collected 9 months out of 60 months. Okay, this slide is going to show the revenue collections by calendar year, so we can follow the trends for each year. So we have a line, the blue line is the budget for East Plus 5. The yellow is 26 East Plus collections. The orange is 25 collections. And the green line is the average for East Plus 4 for a calendar year.
I don't like where those lines are.
Okay, it's because we started our collection in 25. You know, we started it in October. So that's why that orange line is at the end, because it started in October. And then the yellow line, our East Plus lines, you know, our yellow started, 26 started with January, which is period 1.
I guess my issue is it's just under the budget line.
Oh.
That's my main issue.
Yeah, so the budget, the budget, if you calculate, I wrote that down actually. So this slide is showing you TAVIT and the tax. And so the budget for tax was $705 million, and then TAVIT was $30 million, so that's $735 million. If we divide it out by 60 months, that came up with a 12.25 million. And it looks like we're bringing in about, for last month, we brought in, for tax, 10 million, 10.9 million, and then about 420,000 on TAVIT. So that's about 11.2 under the 1250. 12,250. Any other questions?
The box is saying that that's how much we're behind on what we are planning to collect, correct?
The box is just that point in time. So the box under 10, So if you look at the box, the orange box, we were under,
No, the total cumulative difference, that's the difference between,
Right.
so
Yes,
what,
yes, yes.
that is how far we are behind
Yes.
on the 3, 6, 9
yes,
months that we've collected.
yes.
So we're averaging a little over $1.5 million a month behind. Okay.
Are-
Everybody go shopping.
I mean, we've run into this issue before. I know that our collections are sitting in the bank longer, so our interest income is higher than it normally would be. Are we factoring that in? Are we making kind of month?
This isn't showing interest. This is just showing the tax and the TABIT. But the other slides, we have the interest in there.
Yeah, I guess
Okay.
the only statement I'll make or question is, we've had experience in the past monitoring cash flow and tax collections and projections and making plan adjustments accordingly. And also factoring in, I just don't remember what our estimated interest income was if we took into the account how long we've had money sitting there. I guess what I'm really asking is, are we making monthly adjustments or projected adjustments to our plans, given cash flow changes? Are we at least having those conversations?
We usually do that about once a year, but we, on the couple more slides down, it'll kind of show you what we've collected for interest as well.
All right.
Here is actually the slide for East Plus 3, which breaks down your income by categories. So you can see we actually have more recognized interest income, 2.3 million, that we could increase the budget for East Plus 3 because we've received more than the budget there. And then we also have received more capital outlay, 829,000. So we can submit a budget amendment to increase the East Plus 3 budget by those amounts. And then on East Plus 4, the same thing. We're still collecting interest income. So I think the last adjustment, budget amendment, was done by capital projects right at the end of the year, I think. And so we are already up and able to do another interest income for East Plus 4 for a budget amendment. We're still waiting for some capital outlay money in East Plus 4, so that's 2.7 million. And
Dr.
then
Howard Hall?
Yes, can you clarify or either confirm the negative amount in the budget line for East Plus 4 where you see the,
are you talking about on this
right.
slide, the capital
Yes,
outlay?
Right.
So the capital outlay budget, that is money that we get from the state when we complete different projects, and they are reimbursing us back. And so we had budgeted 4 million, but there's still some East Plus 4 projects that we're waiting to get reimbursed back.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and so East Plus 5, this is showing the breakdown of the total $821 million budget. So we said 705 for East Block, for taxes, and then for transfers and TABIT is 90 million, and then interest income, 26 million. So 9 months, and we're at 2.5 million. So I can do an analysis to see how we're falling in with that on the interest income. Any questions on the revenue summaries?
I mean, if we continue this trend, we're going to be 50 to 60 million below budget over 60 months. So that's real money. Yeah, we should probably talk about it more than once a year.
Okay, okay. I will get with, so when capital projects put together this E5 budget, I'll look at what they did to create this budget, and then I'll do an analysis of what it looks
Well,
like.
Before we do that, maybe just have a conversation with facilities on,
Okay.
because we've been through this dance before. How are we managing cash flow? How are we managing project flow and starting and stopping projects and doing long-term projections on projects that don't start until year 4 or year 5, for example. But we've had a lot of turnover in facilities and, job duty changes. I just want to make
Okay.
sure, we've been through this exercise before, so I just want to make sure we're talking about it now as opposed to year 3.
Yes, definitely. I will reach out. Okay. The next few slides is a reconciliation of the East Plus 3 unallocated funds as of July 31st. So if we go down, this is showing where money has moved in and out of unallocated. So if we go down, went too far. That bottom is $3.4 million in East Plus 3 unallocated. And it'll also show you on the comprehensive summary slides coming up. These slides show you the budget versus the costs for each East Blast, and it's by category. So it's broken out by the schools, the modifications, the program management, technology upgrade. So that's showing you encumbered, budget encumbered, expended, and it also shows you what was spent last month. So it takes what was spent in July, and subtracted from what was spent cumulative through June to tell you what is actually spent each month. So that was, the second to the last column is what was spent in July for East Plus 3. And East Plus 4, the same thing. You'll also see that unallocated balance. And then East Plus 5. It shows you what's spent for the month of July by category. Okay, this is showing you the same thing, but it's actually by project and category. So it breaks it out by each East Bloss, by the category like we saw previously, but it also has the project description on each line. So you can see how much was spent of that total that was spent in the month of July. You can see what it was spent on in that last column. And this is for East Bloss 3, 4, and 5. Okay, and then the last slides are a comprehensive summary. It's all these are the same numbers, it's just different ways of showing it. So these slides are showing you by category, and then as also by location or project. So you can see the actual names of the schools instead of just the project name on these. And it shows you original budget all the way through available balance or available budget for each East Bloss. And that is for 3, 4, and 5. Any questions?
Board got these in advance. Any questions on the finances reports? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Capital programs and maintenance update.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Nicole Callahan. I will present to you some of our capital programs and maintenance updates that we did this summer. Dr. Watts charged us with one band, one sound. And from our department, we took it literally. And we spent the summer doing deep cleaning. We had a whole transition of head custodians to facility coordinators. And out of that, we created Maintenance University, where we upskilled our facility coordinators to be able to lead in their new roles. We trained them on HVAC filter replacement, doors, locks, painting, basic maintenance skills that they can do. So some of these pictures you see are classes that are actually being held. We deployed SAFE badges, as you all know. So these are our pictures from our Maintenance University kickoff that we held at Beach High School. That was a success, where we brought all of our facility coordinators together. We had our entire capital programs team, and we all had a wonderful day meeting each other, breaking down those silos, had our portfolio managers meet their facility coordinators. So it was really a wonderful day to be able to come together. And then we held Maintenance University classes all summer where facility coordinators were able to sign up for their courses and learn all of those different skills for them to be successful in their new roles. Day one readiness. When Dr. Watts said one band, one sound, we all pulled together to make it happen. So our maintenance teams came from their various trades. We all were in the schools, changing ceiling tiles, doing deep cleaning of restrooms, painting, fixing stairs. We answered the call. And so our teams did a lot of work in deep cleaning, pressure washing. We were everywhere touching all of the buildings and making sure we were day one ready. That was extremely important for us. And I also want to take the opportunity to really thank our team. They are the invisible unsung heroes. You might not see their faces, you might not know their names, but they leaned in this summer. We were everywhere in every building, from playgrounds to ceilings. We were everywhere. And so I hope as you all have gone through open house that you really saw the difference in the quality and cleanliness of our buildings. So I really want to thank them publicly because they don't get enough recognition for the hard work that they do. But we want them to know that we are extremely proud of them in the work that they've done. Our admin team, we wouldn't have been able to do a lot of these things without you as well. So the expectations were high and they answered the call. Playground replacements. We replaced 21 playgrounds across 7 schools this summer. That was a very tall order to get it done in a little bit of time. So these are some before and after pictures. As you see, we have Shades, Gadsden, Southwest Elm, Marsh Point. And then we do have Brock that is finishing up. Brock actually will be finished this week. So we're really excited for that playground to finish. And Principal Patterson has been amazing and very accommodating with us in that schedule. One last thing we want to highlight, furniture, fixtures, and equipment. We replaced furniture at Myers and Godley Station. Those replacements are also happening in phases, but we wanted to give you some pictures to let you know that investment is happening and we're moving forward with those replacements. Any questions? Yes, ma'am.
Are you replacing teachers' desks as well? Because I see a lot of the
Yes, ma'am.
students.
So our furniture coordinators receive requests in from the schools, and then they come and do a site survey on the needs and work with the principal and the admin staff to determine needs, and then we allocate funding for those. So yes, ma'am, as they build out the scope, we do it by need. There's a workflow that's available for schools to fill out when they have that need, and then Ms. Collins goes out, works with the school to determine the age of the furniture and what we can do, whether we have to life cycle, because furniture actually is very expensive, as you all know.
Yes.
And so sometimes we can't just do it all at once, but if we can phase it to where we're allocating funds in phases and building out that life cycle. And that's also a part of our larger program where we want to build a life cycle replacement plan, so we're not coming to you all at once to say we have to replace everything at one time.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Hall?
I've spoken briefly with Ms. Davidson about the new role of head custodians. What has been their general embrace of moving from that to portfolio managers and taking on a bigger role?
It's a transition. We've received feedback. Some have had reservations just because it's a new structure, there's new accountability, there are new skills involved. Some are super excited. They are finally excited to be able to take ownership of their building and be able to do that facility work. We changed the structure of how work orders were being processed. So as work orders come in, if it has to come through maintenance, it'll come through maintenance, but then it comes back to the facility coordinator to verify that that work is complete, and then the work order is closed. So we really dived in. We met with facility coordinators several times over the course of planning the transition to receive their feedback. What did they like? What didn't they like? What were their concerns? And so some of the biggest concerns I've had is just they wanted to make sure that they had the tools that they needed to be successful. And I heard that. And so that's why we created Maintenance University, because we can't expect you and hold you to a standard if we haven't poured into you to upskill you to be ready to do your job effectively and efficiently. So the opportunities are there. We offer professional development as folks have asked for professional development. We send them to courses that are available that the budget allows.
Okay, and is the public aware that along with this change, there has been a salary increase so that we're not asking our custodians to just take this new role on, but they are being compensated well, I believe. If I'm incorrect, let me know, but that they are being compensated for this new role.
Yes, ma'am. We did work with our partners in Human Talent Resources to evaluate where they would be and move to on that pay scale for that transition. And so it was an upgrade in pay. Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Grabowski?
So I was at one of our schools on the first day the teachers were back, and when the principal shared this transition and she introduced, the changes that were being made, including the improvements to the work order. And so I just want to commend the entire team because she clearly was very well prepared, Principal Brown at Olive Hope, in communicating that to her team, but still embracing the facility, even though the facilities are not reporting to her
Yes, ma'am.
anymore, still embracing them as part of their school and the importance that they had in that school community. And it just was a great way to see that transition happening and to see the teachers being very happy about the simplicity of the work order request. So I just wanted to commend the entire team and everyone that has worked. And I know there's still some things that have to happen, but definitely the schools looked great at the beginning of the year. So thank you for all the hard work.
Thank you for that. And that was one of the things that we want to build, that trust with our principals, that we want to be a part of their school community because we are a part and we want to make sure to support them. And so we're building that trust to let them know, you put it in, we might can't come right now, but we're coming, I promise. And so our teams have been working really, really hard on school startup. It's our busiest time of year. So we are literally running from one side of Chatham County to the other. But I've been extremely proud of the team and them leaning into this transition because it's a lot. But I think as we continue to settle in, I'm really excited about where we're going.
I think because this is a new-ish initiative and restructuring, it would be helpful maybe mid-year or when I think we have a CSC update next month, maybe not then, but the next one, we have just a brief update on how the program's going, if it's giving us the results we were hoping to get or if we're on that pathway, just kind of a check-in.
I will ask, what are the metrics that we are, how will we know that this is, other than anecdotally, are we tracking metrics that would show us that it's working?
So we did upgrade our work order system. It's School Dude has an online platform where now they have dashboards and where we can pull reporting a lot better. So we, as the leaders, will be digging into pulling the work orders. We're doing quality checks to pull random work orders. Was this work actually completed? We have our field teams, and Ms. Huntley is going around and actually verifying that this work is being completed, just even outside of the facility coordinators. We probably haven't seen our desk in the good part of 3 weeks. So we are in the schools, boots on the ground every day. So yes, ma'am, and we would be glad to have that mid-year check-in, but we are pulling the data and actually paying attention to what's happening, what's going in, what's coming out.
I think also getting feedback from school sites on
Yes.
the new structure as well.
And we could do a survey and send those out to those sites as well.
Any other questions on maintenance capital programs? Excellent. Thank you. Are we doing,
We're going to do a brief addition to talk about engagement for our communities. If if that's all right with you. Sir
Absolutely.
Chair. All right, so we are excited to bring forth the opportunity to better engage our community. And just as a reminder, our new strategic plan, Priority 4.3, has one of the strategies to sustain stakeholder confidence and engagement in education's special purpose local option sales tax, also known as eSPLOST, through transparent communication on progress and efficient, effective delivery of every project. So while we do have the opportunity to have the Capital Improvement Committee, we also want to expand beyond that and go to our communities. So we decided that the first area we would go would be to listen to our teachers, to the staff in the schools, and to first find out from them for future projects. So we started this with our Hubert renovation, and it went very well, although unfortunately we had a little miscommunication, and many of the staff thought they were going for a firing meeting and had to quickly tell them that it was a community meeting to talk about the renovation to the school. So once they got to hear that, everybody was excited. So we started with the teachers first to find out from them what they wanted to see in the renovation. Then we had the community meeting to bring in the parents and the neighbors to find out what they wanted to see in the renovation. And then we committed to have regular updates. So Hubert has been our first little pilot, and it's gone very successful. So we plan to continue that and to extend it beyond that for our larger meetings. So our larger meetings, we would like to consider, for example, the West Chatham complex, where we will be building new facilities on a large scale, bringing in a third party to help us engage so that they can provide a written report back to us on exactly what the community would like to see. We will be very clear on what can be changed and what cannot be changed, right? So we can get feedback from them on different things, on what the way the building looks on the outside, maybe brick color. There are some things we cannot change. Maybe we can't change the wetlands, and we can't change the site where it sits. But we want to make sure that they have a voice and they're helping us build the school in the way that they would like for the school to be built. So once we synthesize and gather all that information, then we're going to bring it back to CIC for board engagement and kind of outline for you, this is what we heard, this is what we're able to do. And then we will make sure that it is in our long-range facility plan. So as you can imagine, we have a potential spot on the board retreat in September to further discuss the long-range facility plan. So just a quick update on community engagement and how we intend to expand into a broader sense.
Excellent. Questions? Ms. Grabowski?
No, I can't leave this one alone. So I want to commend the team for kind of formalizing this process. I know this is something we've kind of talked about wanting to do over quite some time. So I think this is a great approach as we go into, the particular meetings. I think, you've stated it's really important to be clear about kind of exactly where we are asking for the input. And I think, if there are ideas that come forward that we're not able to implement or whatever, that it's important we also provide that feedback after the fact of, we appreciate your input, we can't do this because of this, just to make sure that we are closing that loop. So look forward to seeing how this continues to play out and appreciate the team for taking this step.
Dr. Howard Hall?
Yes, I actually attended one of the Hubert community meetings, and the group was quite rather small. So are you all prepared for the West Chatham community meetings? Because I'm quite sure it won't be a small group. So I'm just giving you a heads up. I'm quite sure you already know to have different procedures in place because it would be a full house.
Yes, and those big ones like that, again, we might be looking to engage a third party. We've had a third party help us with the strategic plan, some of the other things, and that particular vendor does a really good job of being able to manage lots of groups of people, nice reports that are given after the fact. So we just want to leverage that when we know we have big, robust projects like that, because it will be needed. You are right.
Yes.
I think with those, making sure that that outside person you bring in is familiar with the terminology, with buildings, like because there are firms that do engagement, but if they're not up to speed on those technical parts, and so I think there's also an opportunity here, obviously, to work with our program manager to make sure that that engagement is structured in the way that it needs to be, and that we're, that the technicalities don't get lost in the messaging.
Absolutely. And while we would love to say there's no need for our team to attend, we do plan to attend each of those meetings and to make sure that the presenter is not leading in a way because they might be great at engagement but might not understand construction management terms.
All right,
All
thank
right.
you.
On to a quick update on design guidelines. So we submitted our design guidelines to our partners and our vendors for their feedback. We have incorporated their feedback into the design guidelines. We are happy to submit them to any board member that would love to review and to give some feedback as well. We are aiming to have them formatted at the end of August so that we can make sure that they are out and are utilized. We want the staff to know them. We do understand this is a living document, so it might be that we bring forth changes, but we wanted to give that update of where we are, and we do plan in the September board retreat to kind of tie in for you how those go into the long-range facility plan.
Questions? I would encourage, board members to take a look at them, ask questions now, not at our board retreat. It's a pretty lengthy document, and the goal has been to make sure board policy goals are embedded in the document, not do we use porcelain, tile, or ceramic, but, do we believe in sustainability or the lowest bid, et cetera? So think about board policy, take a look at the document, provide feedback to Ms. Davidson, to me, to Ms. Grabowski, to whoever, but do it now as opposed to a month from now.
So the documents come to all of us, not just if we ask. You're going to send those to everyone.
Yes, ma'am. We'll get that out.
All right?
All right, now we're going to quickly go over our program schedule and cash flow. Mr. Haddington.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Let me just quickly go through program schedule, and I would like to expand maybe on the cash flow and finances based upon that previous discussion. I'd certainly like to try to alleviate any of the concerns that were brought up. So first, when it comes to the program schedule, this is a dynamic document, always has been, keeps getting updated every month. If you do take the time to compare the one that you got today with maybe the one that you got 3, 4, 5 meetings ago, you'll notice that there's new activities put in. Certainly the dates are updated. And so that's what we do as we walk through the project. That's our roadmap onto how we're going to finish and work through these eSPLOST programs. Just quickly, the projects right now that are under capital programs, we've got $140 million, those first maybe half of that sheet page. It's about $140 million of projects that are in construction, different phases, early construction, punch lists, et cetera. There's another $70 million of projects that will kick off in construction within the next 6 months. And along with that, of course, we're busy doing RFPs in E5 projects for our CMRs and for our design professionals. Now, again, there was a lot of discussion earlier about cash flow. You have seen this report, every board meeting, every eSPLOST update, every CIC meeting. We've done it for E2, now 3 and 4 and 5. And it's a report that is the only report that you're going to have that balances cost and expenditures to revenue for each of our programs. And if we have our cost balanced with our revenue, we are not going to be over budget. And that held true for E2. We closed it out and we're on budget. E3, we've looked at this one quite extensively, obviously, as we've gone through. Right now, we are showing, obviously, we're not having any revenue at all. We've got a little interest that's coming in, made about $500,000 so far this year, but we've got also about $26 million to expend. At one time, I was hoping that we could get this closed out this calendar year. I don't see that, but I do see that very early in '27. We've got a couple difficult projects to get through and some HVAC work that's going to be tailing out, but certainly in '27, this will close out, and again, it's going to match. Revenues are going to match our cost on this. E4, this is the SPLOST that we're deeply in right now, and you see in 25, 26, that's where our major expenditures are happening. We're through collections. Obviously, we're into 5, but we are still going to have interest. And we've got projected in 26 over $5 million of interest, and we'll have the state capital outlay. And remember, state capital outlay is a very late revenue source. The project has to be done, all the paperwork has to be done before we can actually send it into the state and get reimbursements. So we're not going to see that income coming in on the cash flow line. It probably will fall out into 27, 28 for a lot of these projects that we're completing right now. However, again, this is your assurance. When you look at this report and you see the revenue total and you see the expenditure total and you see that you have $0 at the end of this program, we've adjusted. And remember in E3, this report basically saved us. We were concerned when we got into the COVID years what was happening with our revenue. And consequently, we were able to adjust. We took some projects, we froze them, and we made this thing balance. And then when we got those revenues back again, we were able to put those dollars and those projects back in. And that's why some of these cash flows go out quite a ways, because we have to make sure that we've got the revenue before we can put the projects in there and get them expended. So
Dr.
E4
Brinkman?
is in good shape.
Yeah, I don't think any of us are worried about us spending more than we collect, and that we'll actually spend what's in the budget. We're concerned now that everything that was on the plan of the budget won't be able to be funded. So let's start thinking about it now. I think every eSPLOST has had something deferred, which happens. Things go up. Costs haven't gone down since we started eSPLOST. But the district has done a good job of early on seeing that things might need to change, thinking outside of the box, taking 3 projects, turning them into 1 project, or saying, you know what, this makes more sense to actually defer. We know it makes more sense, like don't even try it. So just, I think that's where Mr. Katchmar is coming from. That's definitely where I was thinking on my questions was, let's start already thinking about if this continues and we don't have a bunch of Decembers where everybody's buying everything, what does that look like for some of our projects that would be at the end of the E5 start time, and how do we leverage resources to make sure more of those get accomplished than less, and prioritize? I know we have those numbers to do that, but it's always good in all transparency to be able to tell people this is what we're going to have to change, because it's all the tea leaves are already showing us that, yeah. Now, granted, it could all swing around and everybody just starts spending like crazy. But if we're tracking $1 million plus every month behind what we budgeted, then some of the projects aren't going to be funded. I know we won't spend more. Okay, we're not doubling. Yeah, so we got you on that.
And I think a lot of if you look at those projects in E3 and even E4 that were deferred, the majority of the time, those project scopes changed.
Yeah.
They went from renovations to new projects or larger, whatever it may be. And so, yeah, those projects would fall into a later SPOS and they would get picked up. And then those dollars were available for other projects within the SPOS. But let's look at E5, and you've got a valid concern, but let me also tell you how this is put together, okay? Because when they talk about the average for our collections, and we're below average, remember what has been done is they took the total amount expected for collections in E5, divided it by 60. And that's that dollar amount you're looking at. So in your first year, are you expecting to collect that amount or less? As you go through the 5 years, you're going to be collecting more every year because those collections obviously have been in previous history, and we expect that they're going to go up. So you may not see that, where is that crossing point? You know, where you're going to see that budget and the collections match? Is it like at the 2.5 year process or timeline? And that's what this is going to start showing you. But it's also going to say, all right, we've got projects that we're putting against this. We're extending out our cash flows. And that's the big question. Is revenue going to actually increase more in a higher percentage than what costs are going to? What are costs going to do? But this allows us to adjust those. When we do start having actual costs, we can start adjusting this. If we start seeing revenue start decreasing, we can adjust this. And this is a report. You know, this is the only report that's going to keep you and keep us on budget and have the adjustments that we need to make.
Yeah, and nobody's panicking. I think we're just saying the one slide we got shows trend is not great. What the lesson learned in E3 in particular is we started having discussions about revenues aren't going to meet budget, but that was year 4. And so then it was, do we defer? Do we just cancel one project? Do we cut 9 projects by 18%? So they're not all, I mean, the earlier we have contingency planning now, and we can decide we're not willing to change that project at all, but we're willing to cut those 3 by 25%, or we'll just cut that one project, which is $60 million, or defer it. The earlier we start having contingency planning, the more flexibility we have. I think that's all we're saying.
Yeah, and I agree. And
That's it.
again, but that's it. That report's going to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Ms. Hall?
Oh, I just wanted to add, I'm going to be the eternal optimist. We know that the national economy right now is in the tanks. I don't care where you look or where you go. Everyone is hurting, and projects across the country are being having to stall. But I do think what Mr. Brinkman said is very good, that let's go ahead and plan. Let's see what projects, let's do it fairly and in order. You know, my Savannah High baseball fields, you know, don't y'all pick on that one, but other than that, so here we go. See, but of course.
So we're lobbying already?
I'm teasing, but yes, but I do think that as the country comes out of its economic slump, that we will be able to revisit this. But planning ahead certainly is a good idea.
Definitely. And if you look at the history of East Blas, it has been extremely erratic. You just really can't see a pattern. Maybe it's starting to fall into it, maybe the last 2 years or so, but we'll watch that carefully because we do get these actual revenues every month. So we'll be able to keep a close eye on that.
Dr. Howard Hall?
Listen, just to reiterate, we know that the cash on hand will eventually approach zero. So by in year 2020, 2931, we definitely need to have a contingency plan in place before then, because we'll be closer to the zero balance.
Yes, ma'am?
All right, thank you. Project updates, Mr. Jones, Mr. Carney.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Afternoon.
Good afternoon. All right, we'll run through these pretty quickly. J.G. Smith, you all have got a chance to look at the beautiful new renovated school. Came in, students moved in. It was absolutely a proud time for our department. Just interior photos of kind of what you see of that beautiful courtyard in the middle, brand new cafeteria, large windows, natural lighting. Check, check, check. Georgetown K-8 also, we had the students take ownership of that building along with staff this summer, or the end of this summer. And we are, of course, the gymnasium is still going to be opened this fall, anticipated in November. Hoping for a little bit earlier, but looking at that mid-November timeframe. And these are just a few before and after shots of what you can kind of see what these renovations do to these facilities.
I have some quick questions. So I know a lot of our cafeterias are going to kind of diversifying the seating, which I think is fantastic. Like, do we have a standard kind of mix of what we provide as far as the small rounds, or like one of the earlier ones was the more like the restaurant style booths, or is that kind of, does the school have a say in how
Yeah,
you
so the younger grades, we try to stick to the basic
tables?
tables,
Yeah.
just it's easier for them, it's easier for the administrative parts of the building. But as the grades get higher, we do the mixes along with meeting with the principals and making sure, and the staff, and making sure that they're in line with how they run their cafeteria and their lunchtime. So not necessarily a strict bar,
okay.
but we do, at those higher grades, we start to mix up different furniture.
Students seem to enjoy it, so thanks.
Yeah.
There's been some flexibility as well. We've learned all the way back when we did Windsor Forest High School before. We've learned a lot. Some tables and chairs just don't work well on certain floors. So we learn as we go, and that's why the construction design guidelines are so important.
So again, just a few other interior photos where you can really see the difference.
I just have to comment, being that I was the first year teacher at Georgetown when the school was built. I guess it was 1992, 93, and we were accustomed to the school colors, the purple and teal. So it was a little different to see the yellow in there. It's beautiful, though. When I saw it, I'm like, oh, my God, my signs, because we had the postal service, and we named all the streets, Cub Causeway, but anyhow, nevertheless, it's beautiful. Have you ever had any schools questioning or asking or requesting, shall I say, for school colors to be a part of the scenery, or you all just pretty much select the color of the furniture and the...
What we do is we'll have a color board, and the principal and staff are invited to come in. That usually happens closer to the DD, kind of that 75% complete in the design phase, where the design professional's interior designer will work with the principal, find colors, find suitable material, and then create what's called a color board, which has all of that on it, so you can kind of see. I know Dr. Brinkman's
They
been.
went away from the field a couple years ago. That wasn't just this building. They've been
Slowly weaning from it, yes.
From the 1990 Florida Marlins field. Don't worry. The OG sign will be renovated with Florida Marlins field. Don't worry.
Okay.
Lots of discussions about logos and colors, but the students and the staff play a big part in that. For the Hubert renovations, we're currently under construction. Everything you see right now in green is where the students are at. The learning cottages were installed and ready for the first day of school. The end of this phase will be towards the end of this year, and we'll begin phase 2, winter 2026. Garden City right now is still in design. We've had multiple discussions with our leadership, with academics, talking about how we're going to allow the students to maintain their presence on campus and ensure that instruction is not interrupted. You've seen most of these pictures before. Yes, Dr. Howard.
I guess I'm thinking, I know that Georgetown had a swing site, and they were out of the building for a year. And Georgetown and Garden City have the same floor plan, shall I say, or the design. They have the same design. So do you think it'd be difficult by those students remaining in that building as opposed to swinging to another site, being the size of the school? I know Georgetown did, and it was the exact same design.
So there's a number of things that we take into consideration. It's not just that particular school and the number of students, but it's also what other projects we have going on at the same time. So whereas now we're going to have multiple projects we're going to have multiple projects going on at the same time, and with the amount of space we have available over at that site, it would be most conducive for us to have them stay on site as opposed to swing. I'm not sure if that answered your question. Sounds like it didn't.
I think we
It
have
answered it,
now,
yeah,
and
but-
Ms. Davidson, I can defer to you. Don't we have criteria now where we try to look and determine when we stay on site and when we don't? So it's not arbitrary?
Yes, ma'am. So we do have some initial criteria that has been developed, and Mr. Jones highlighted some of that. Some of it is time on the bus as well. So when our students swing, we have to have additional time on the bus, and that is problematic. We want to reduce the bus time as much as possible. He highlighted the swing site availability, so, and just overall the head count. So because Montgomery Swing Site is not built for a large capacity, so we are limited as to what sites can swing there. Garden City was too large, and we would not have ample parking for the teachers. And I myself did not want to tell a teacher they couldn't park on site, so that was why Montgomery was not available for Garden
Okay.
City.
Because I know Mercer was at Montgomery, but it was smaller. The
Yes, ma'am.
population was, okay.
We have to work very closely with the principal. We realize not only is it an inconvenience to be in mobile units, but it could pose safety concerns with students being so accessible to outside. So there'll have to be quite a bit of internal work, management, and workarounds to ensure that we maintain the safety and security of staff when we're in mobile units. So it's not falling light on me. It's a necessary evil, I guess is what I'll say.
Ms. Hall and then Dr. Bringman.
Dr. Watts, when Juliet Low was built, that modular city behind there, it went very well. We didn't have, as I recall, there were not many instances of any problems in terms of the mobiles.
And Hubert is
themselves.
going extremely
Yeah.
well, but that just doesn't happen. It requires a lot of planning and preparation of staff, the principal. A lot of planning has to go into that. So I guess the point I was trying to make is we will do that work through Dr. Barnes's team and working with the capital projects team to make sure that principal's set up for success.
I would just ask, I know the RFP hasn't gone out for this, correct?
Garden City?
Yeah,
Yes, it has.
this month?
Or it's going on, I'm sorry.
Okay, so,
We'll
yeah.
be going on this month, yes.
During the review process, we're just looking at a contractor that has had success with construction with students on site, because I know we've had plenty of those across our district. Yeah, and that be one of those questions or scores.
Yeah, it's part of the rubric. Yeah, for our Innovation Learning Center, the construction continues. It's primarily under demo right now. It's going well, and it is scheduled for completion in May of 2027.
All right. As far as the Gamble Road project goes, we intend to begin this at the end of the month, break ground on the new restroom and transportation building that you see on your right. And we can keep going. That's, again, the layout of the property with the buses to the left and the maintenance buildings to the right. Islands Athletics. So it does, I think that this Friday is their first football game, and we've met with athletics along with the AD, and everyone seems to be understand kind of where the construction is still at and the safety that will be required to have folks attend the game, and everything seems to be running smoothly.
So, Ms. Hall, you would be happy to know that we're moving forward with the Savannah High School baseball and softball field?
Make sure you're paying attention. I was writing down this Garden City information now.
No, that's all right. We had the pre-con meeting last week for the softball field. Moving forward with the permitting issues are complete, and the completion date got pushed to the right a little bit. A very conservative date is the beginning of March, but the subcontractor has worked with us many times in the past, and we believe that we're going to be able to get this finished sooner than that. But right now, the date is the beginning of March to have both the softball and the baseball field complete.
Who is the subcontractor?
I knew you were going to ask me that question. Right now, we have prime contractors, but the young lady that's working through prime contractors has worked on a number of our projects before.
Okay.
I'll get that answer back to you.
And thank you. I appreciate all the effort that's being put into this.
Yes, ma'am. Moving forward.
No.
Mr. Jones, you know the boys have had to practice and all off-site. There's no, when can the actual program be expected to really begin at Savannah High? You're saying March, beginning of March.
Right now, it's scheduled for March 1st, 2027.
Okay, so I'll have to ask the coaches when, I don't know exactly when spring baseball training and all and practice starts, but it sounds like right about that time, if not a little before then.
Or January.
But yeah, I'm trying to be generous.
So we work closely with athletics. As a matter of fact, we work in the same building. So we talk all the time about alternative places for practice. And right now, they work with their ADs to ensure that all of our students have a place to practice. Yeah.
All right.
Okay, all right. Home games, that kind of thing. All of this, I want to keep that sense of urgency there.
Absolutely.
Because we've had children to graduate already who I've been promising they were going to get that field. So I don't mean to be, obtuse, but I do need some urgency with this. That's why I was wondering, is this subcontractor able to devote the time needed to this, or they kind of spread out on several different projects and kind of get to it when they can, since it's not a major project? But I won't belabor this, and I trust your judgment that it's going to be done. Okay.
Absolutely.
And you know who else I trust? I trust Ms. Davidson. So I know it'll get done.
All right. From one successful project to another. So Windsor Forest Elementary, we are in design with Croft Architects, excuse me. And they're working their way through the schematic design and finalizing that up. We've met with all of our departments, make sure that they have their input. And we have recently awarded the CMR contract to Balfour Beatty, who will be helping us through the design development and construction document phase of this project, and making sure that our new building can go on site in the best way possible and for the best price. Yes, sir.
This is great, but this is again where my question before the meeting came up on, like, where have we started on input? And we just were told, we're going to have input for projects, but now I'm seeing a schematic design. The community wants input before something like this gets thrown out.
Right.
Because right now, I got teachers, they're gonna see this, and the one thing, go back, click back. There is something I can see right now that is not on that schematic design, that I've got teachers that will burn my house down because it's not in the schematic design. And that is the garden program that has been there for decades.
That's the existing photo of the.
Yeah, I know it is.
Okay,
It's there,
okay.
but it's not in the schematic design.
Yeah.
And these are the conversations that need to be had, small conversations with the staff that's there. this is just moving forward, like, what currently is in your school that you need there?
Yeah.
For it to be, and I know it can be changed. It's just, this is where things get a little ahead, and the community's like, oh, there's a 2D, my garden's not there. So I've already got things. People
Right.
going, oh, my garden's gone.
Yeah, we have to.
Already
we have to-
contacting their alderman. I have no clue why.
Yeah, right.
But
So-
like,
So what includes in the schematic design is not gardens,
I
it's
know
not
it's not,
landscape.
but like-
But we have to gather all this information, because if I was to go to the community with nothing, I don't have anything to give them, so I
I'm not-
have to have this
but
process.
there's a community at the school, a simple little survey of like, what does Windsor Forest Elementary mean to you and what do you want to see at the new school? Boom, boom, boom. You're just going to there's your word cloud. Garden would have been in the middle. No flooding would have been in the middle. Keep the trees would have been there. So like those, it's just, I mean, and I think all of our architects are great. I think a short list of like, hey, when you're looking at building this, make sure that that's there. It might move, I know it's gonna move, but it's just the thoughtfulness that the community sees when they see something and it's like, it's not there. But we got space, it can be added easily as we converse. It's just, they see it and everybody gets worried. That's all.
I
It's
do
not-
like the idea of a pre-survey. I'm just stating for the fact, like, that would take no time for us to send out a little
And not just,
three-question
I mean, that
survey.
doesn't, and I think that doesn't have to go out to the citizenry,
Right,
maybe
but the
the
teachers.
surrounding houses, but definitely the
That's
teachers.
easy.
Yeah, so our thought process, and we can definitely do a survey, was we wanted to give them something they could visualize. So the principal supervisors, all the district staff have been able to give feedback to say what should go in. And then when we go meet with the teachers, then we can give them the visualization that they can say, hey, I need this, or I don't like where you put this, can that change? You put the gym in the front.
I gotcha.
So-
I know the process that we've done. I'm just telling you the feedback I'm getting from people that are in the building going like, oh, people are having meetings already. Stuff's, I haven't been able to share mine. And I'm like, it's coming. I haven't shared mine as a board member yet, so it's coming.
And
But they
this
just
isn't
want a
unique.
little bit.
This isn't unique to this project. This happens project after project. So we're just trying to get ahead of.
The community.
We're trying to help. This is not criticism. We've been through this for 15 years. You guys have in different roles, but you know what's coming. Let's not create our own problems.
The question is simple, is what is the most essential thing that we do? Just to get the conversation going.
I mean, and it's just like the teachers, they just want to be heard. Yeah. So I think it'll go well. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
And just to reiterate, I went through a lot with the Groves project about the tree, the stadium, the sound. It was a lot that could have probably been done beforehand, and it was some mad meetings going on. We had several, so that's a good idea to get in front of it.
All right, jumping into Pooler. We're deep in the design right now with Pooler, just those beginning stages of kind of moving the blocks around. The intention here is to create something where a student doesn't necessarily need to go outside in order to get to another building. So figuring out how to design that, the existing facility in a way where we can meet that goal is where we're at right now. And these are kind of some of the thinking areas that we're in as you go through these slides. This is the existing building with the portions, the buildings that you see within the facility. These are the buildings that we're proposing to demolish. And this is what we believe it can look like when we build back the spaces that we've demolished. And What this does is, like I said, it gives you a student a chance to enter the building and not have to go outside. And so which, for us, the maintenance side, HVAC is great when it's all in one, but also the safety side. And that interior 10,339 square feet, that's an interior courtyard. So very similar to what you see at Henderson Formey.
Mr. Moss and then Ms. Hall.
So recently, we have had some incredible buildings. Jacob G. Smith is just extraordinary. And I made the same comment when I went through Jacob G. Smith that I made at Formey. This is our standard. We cannot go beneath this standard ever. So, you know, with Pooler, if it's going to be an early learning center, it's got to rival. If Formey's going to look amazing, got to do the same thing for Pooler. I know I'm preaching to the choir, but I just wanted to say it.
Well, as a note of encouragement, I just want to say, if ever there was a site that fit this purpose, this does. This is going to be even not better than Formey, but the environment, the surroundings, the space. You know, we've had to kind of watch out for all the construction and all going around Formey and all. But this is an ideal for an early childhood center. I often lamented that Pooler Elementary, I always felt sorry for it, like it was like a stepchild. But this is going to be magnificent. And like I said, the site is inviting this. So best wishes on this. But I do want to encourage you, yeah, make it great. But I believe we already have all the conditions needed for that to happen.
Ms. Grabowski?
As we have schools kind of transitioning to the courtyard play area, which totally understand the rationale behind it, and I guess thinking about Formey as an example, do we hear anything from our teachers about, like, does that ever serve as a distraction when the kids are in the play area in the courtyard and you have other kids in the classroom? Like, does it distract at all from the learning environment for the students that are in the classroom when there are kids in the courtyard?
I haven't heard that. I do know we do put shades, roller shades on the
Right, but we
windows,
don't
so-
want our
Right.
teachers having to eliminate natural light to eliminate I just think it'd be a question worth asking. And I'm not saying we don't do it, but like is that a better space for outdoor classrooms and the play areas maybe not immediately adjacent to the building? I just think it's a good place to try and get feedback from our educators and make sure that we, that there's not any issues like that we need to be addressing.
So we'll definitely circulate. I have gotten a lot of requests from teachers across the district to put more playgrounds in the courtyards because it's a safety piece. But we did not specifically ask, was it distracting to the educational environment? So we'll go back and kind of double tap that piece.
So we had an opportunity to walk through Charles Ellis today. It's currently in design. That's it. I know Mr. Grabowski has a lot to add. We're not going to be able to move that fast.
Mr. Jones, I don't want to talk about this project anymore. So I want to thank the team again for your time, and also, and I'm happy to, I'm going to circulate it. They've already seen it, but happy to circulate with anyone who's interested. I shared with them when we did a renovation there 10 years ago, the survey that so at the time I was on school council, and school council took it upon ourselves to do the survey with the teachers before I think the architect was even selected. Or they may have been selected, but there were a lot of questions. And so it was very open-ended. It was, what do you want to make sure what do you want to keep? What do you want to change? What inspires you about this place? What would help make your teaching and learning more effective? So it was those types of questions. So when we were just having that whole conversation, because we did that 10 years ago, and and that's how we ended up with, because they do co-teaching, that's how we ended up with those movable doors. And we might have heard that at some point, but to your point, like, we can hear that kind of feedback really early on. But I also understand completely that sometimes when you go in with a blank slate, that people don't know how to respond, and also because teachers are not contractors or designers, right? And so I think encouraging our teachers to think about things that they may not think about with the built environment is part of that input as well. But anyways, excited for the great things to come at Charles Ellis.
All right, and we'll jump into West Chatham. I think that everyone has seen this slide, and where we are at right now is we are moving into that beginning stage of the schematic design. You have seen, as far as these slides go, where the proposal for the boxes are going to, and I'll explain, let me see. So this is probably the better slide to look at. That northern portion is wetlands. The dark is wetlands and floodplain. So as you can see, the big site we have is made a little smaller with the requirements that we have to build in. These are, again, just very much boxes. They're through meetings with our staff to find out how big the boxes need to be. So it's not necessarily layout. It's not. This is. We've heard suggestions through staff on a wagon wheel design. So we've tried to incorporate some of that. But these are really truly just boxes and sizes of boxes that are appropriate for the space and how they lay out. We have gone through meetings with the city of Pooler and their traffic department. One of the big issues, as you can kind of see around the site, is their big project, which is the roundabouts, which will be going on at the same time we are in construction on this site. So it will be a very busy site, difficult situation for all, and we will be successful.
We're going to have to do any wetlands mitigation? It looks like some of those fields are going to go. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and the wetlands mitigation, the biggest thing is time, obviously cost. It's you had to say it's a sunk cost, but we need the space, so it's a cost we're buying to use the property.
But we got to buy
But it's
wetlands somewhere?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just the time it takes to get that done. That's more so the issue.
Is there another image on the next page or no? Sorry, I haven't looked.
These three. There's that one. Do you like that one better? It has trees.
About, what, 4 acres probably?
Portions of the school, 2 stories?
Haven't completely determined our civil team. We have to, we're still, like I said, the programming for this is massive. This is a big job. And so I know y'all have been in conversation. We have all been in conversation about the programming. So it took a lot to narrow. Once we got the program, it was massive. And so the reason why you kind of saw that we were done with programming, but we weren't, is we had to then kind of start to squeeze and figure out how to get that within our budget and make sure we had all the things that everyone wanted and not take it away. So we've squeezed pretty well, and now we're putting it on a site, and now the civil team's got to kind of get in there and make sure that everything is done right and then take off. But originally we had used a much larger portion of the site, and I think that we are at 17 acres, which is a decent amount. And that was beyond, I can't really show you here, but that was stretching way up into the northern end of that site. And so we have come out a lot by squeezing a lot. So I don't want to tell you yes on 4 acres.
No.
but
I was
certainly
just
I
making
think
sure we
we're
were
pretty
thinking
close.
about it. I know that's where we're putting all the fields. Let's make sure that we at least elevate them enough so that
Right.
they're not flooding and we're having to replace Sean's AstroTurf when it floats away.
Just learn our lesson from New Hampstead.
Yeah.
Would there be any way to offset that mitigation? We can never use that other wetlands. If there's something we could do with the state to say that it's going to remain
We can
some
always,
type of.
you can use the rest of it. You just have to go through the same process of mitigating that as well.
Yeah.
We can mitigate.
But could we save some money by saying, state, we're never going to touch this land? I don't know. Is there some way that we can
Yeah. So
posture with the state to say, y'all can have this as a dedicated reserve? I don't know.
Yeah, it kind of
to-
already is. So it's
Yeah.
already dedicated as well. And so we would be essentially, what
But
we
make
do
it
is we buy one
protected.
from somebody else who promises to do exactly what you're saying. And that's not already a wetlands.
Yeah.
So we're saying, hey, state, federal, we're going to buy this area here, but
And-
use the one here.
Yeah.
And they say, fine, it's one for
I
one.
get that, but I'm just trying, if we're never gonna, is there a way that we can
We can
use what we're
sell-
not using
Yeah.
to get some money? That big chunk up there that's wetlands, why, let's mitigate somebody else's wetlands. What?
It's already wetlands. You can't mitigate wetlands. that
Oh,
are
yeah, you
already
gotta make
delineated
more.
as wetland. Yeah.
Yeah, dadgummit. Okay, never mind, yep. We can't get anything for protecting it?
We're already protecting it as part of our mitigation, I'm sure.
All right, let's move on. Put it in a Claude, see what it says.
I don't use AI because that destroys the wetlands.
There's a data center who wants to probably mitigate something.
Don't say that out loud. So again, a caveat, this is subject to change. This is just how we have gone through over the last several times to make sure that this works best as far as transportation goes, how it comes. As far as the actual lines, they will change slightly. And then rolling into just these other projects that are ongoing throughout the district, roof replacements, Johnson is in the midst of it right now. That project, obviously, as everyone on the board knows, seems to get a little bit more and more and more after we take something off and find out it needs more. But the contractor is absolutely doing his job and a good job at it. Myers is still in design, along with Woodville Tompkins, which we hope to get going here pretty soon. HVAC.
With all these roof replacements, are we evaluating solar? I take that as a no, and why not?
So we evaluate solar. It's very difficult to do on certain roofs, like our metal roofs. We don't want to put metal on, we don't want to put
But if
solar-
we're doing a new roof, I mean, now's the time to do it. And we're spending how much money in electricity? Just saying. I know Ms. Howard, or Dr. Howard Hall asked a question in our last meeting about the offset of what we're generating with our existing solar. So I think we really need to be looking at that.
Yes, ma'am.
Cost of electricity is not going down.
We note that, and we have a request out to Georgia Power for the Dr. Howard Hall's inquiry. So as soon as that is provided, we'll get that back to the group.
We
We'll
be able
look
to monitor
into.
that ourselves. Like,
Agreed.
Yeah.
that's not a heavy lift. We shouldn't have to call Georgia Power.
All right, so jumping into HVAC, we did have a couple of these projects this summer that were large-scale HVAC projects that did get finished up over the summer. Everything that was that would be or was intended to get completed over the summer, and now we're just working on those closeouts, test and balance, and finishing them up now. As far as Windsor Forest High School, these are just those additional items that were requested after the construction had completed, and just some contingency funds that we're using on these.
Aren't we waiting on some natural things to happen to put the baseball, softball field in at Windsor?
I don't speak of it.
Like, it's on the list.
It's
Like,
still
what
on
is
the
it- why
list,
is
so
it on the-
that's
it's on
all
the
I'm good
list?
with.
That's our
There
do
has
down the
been,
road
there's
list?
discussions right now with the athletics to find out what can fit there and what is desired for the actual athletics teams that are inside of the Windsor Forest High School.
Dr. Howard Hall?
Yes, we've discussed cash flow and deferrals and contingency, and I don't see anything on here regarding Woodville Tompkins athletics. What's going on with the track field and the
So-
promises that's been made?
We are, that is intended, it's just a East Boston project that is further down on the schedule. If you flip back to this schedule, and I can't remember what slide it was, that is listed, I believe, on there. But it's just a project that will take place later on in East Boston.
But I feel it's
right now
important,
very-
it's important to be on here now, because what I don't want is a deferral. We already saying that we're gonna end up with a zero balance eventually, because there's no contingency in place in the event that we lead toward a zero balance in 2029-31. So I would like to know what's going on with it, and if we see Windsor Forest on here with their baseball, softball, Savannah High softball, and we have nothing at Woodville Tompkins, and that needs to be fixed.
I guess just,
Reference in the update in these presentations, so we can see what's going on, because, there- yes.
Yeah, we noted, Dr. Howard Hall, we did not list every one of the projects. That one in particular, we have to get the Alternative Learning Center complete or Innovation Center to move Building Bridges over. But I do note your request to see it on the project update list.
all right, and I guess I'll just run through these. Our 208 Bull Street project, the architect was awarded last board meeting. We still plan on having that CMR RFP come out this fall. Program manager, the program manager committee has gone through, as far as I know, their requirements, and they plan to bring that to the board for approval in September. And then the Savannah Classical HVAC is coming to an end. They're slowly replacing all the existing units with the in-kind units on the roof.
Questions? Everybody was sharing their comments during the presentation, so.
I love that they still put this slide at the end of everything.
I'll start putting a question slide behind every
They're hoping we'll wait one day.
Ms. Hall?
Can you go back one side to the, okay, Dr. Watts, this is more for you than for Mr. Dre or Mr. What is your expectation as to how the relationship is going to look between the program manager and our in-house capital projects team? How do you envision that?
I envision it as a very strong collaborative process. There must be joint accountability. We must maintain our oversight and standards for what we would consider to be exceptional work. So it's not a handoff to the project management and we are kind of hands-off. That partnership and that joint accountability must be in place. Where there are opportunities for us to learn from them, I expect that kind of to be happening kind of organically as well, so that anything post needing a project manager, we can sustain on our own if we get back to that place, so that we can learn from them as well. I think the way Ms. Davidson has also supported me in understanding what the role is, they're a staffing organization. They're going to help us with staff, right? And so from an HR perspective, what can we learn about strategies around how we staff moving forward? Because this is an area we just continue to have issues with bringing in the right staff. But somebody knows how to do it, so we need to learn. The data piece, I hope, is bolstered quite a bit so that we can be more public-facing with the community around progress and where we are with different projects. So I would envision and hope that they're going to support us in having clearer data dashboards. Not that the ones that we have aren't good, but they're not public-facing, people-friendly documents. Those are just a few of my thoughts and considerations.
Is that your
Microphone.
expectation?
Microphone.
I'm just asking, is that how you would see this and plan to embrace this?
She's my boss.
Okay.
I invite other input.
That is exactly how we
Knowing
how we
her,
looked at it.
I'm
Yes,
sure
ma'am.
she invites your input.
Yes.
I desire it very much.
Dr. Howard Hall?
I was just going to say that quick, that we had an opportunity to provide input long before we ever put out a bid for a program manager in the first place. So Dr. Watts, Ms. Davidson, they came to us and asked us, how did we envision it? How could we help make the program better before it ever went out in the first place? So we were on board before
Yeah.
the bid went out.
Dr. Howard Hall?
Yes, charter schools' schedules extended to 2030. Are there any concerns from our charter schools? I noticed that the schedule extended to 2030, the charter schools projects, the HVAC, whatever they were requesting. Are there any concerns from our charter schools?
No, I think that actually the Savannah Classical was moved up, so that charter school project just started. And then I think that a lot of them were pushed in the original schedule. They were where they are. I don't think that they've slipped off any of them, what we originally proposed.
So, Dr. Howard Hall,
We made
they
some
followed
contributions to
our
coastal.
timeline. So we did HVAC and roofing priorities, and then Coastal Empire Montessori School, they had some kitchen updates. So anybody that had transportation, other pieces, just like the rest of the pieces within the district, our other schools, they fell at the same time frame. So if it was technology, it fell when the district technology, which was at the latter part of the 5 years.
So we've treated them
And
very
no
much like we
concerns
have
have
our
been
tech.
elevated.
All right, thank you, everyone. Our next meeting is October 14. Write it down. Reminder, if the board has comments on design guidelines, look at them now. Get comments back in the next week or two. Thank you.